The colony of New Aloria stretched like a glittering jewel across the barren red plains of Talos 9. Towering crystalline buildings shimmered under the artificial sky, their surfaces reflecting light in every possible color. Hover trams glided silently along magnetic rails carrying colonists to labs, homes, and marketplaces. Life on Talos 9 had its challenges, but humanity had adapted, carving beauty from the harshness of an alien world. In one of the tallest towers, Leora crouched over a console, her long fingers adjusting tiny circuits in a neural interface device. Her hair fell over her eyes as she leaned closer, her mind focused entirely on the task. She was small and unassuming, but her mind worked like a starship engine, precise, powerful, and full of potential. "Leora, are you sure this is ready for testing?" asked a voice behind her. She looked up to see Kale, tall and lean with eyes that seemed to notice everything. He carried the aura of someone used to exploring the unknown, someone who had seen too much and yet craved more. "I've double-checked everything," Leora said softly, not wanting to admit her nervousness. "But neural interfaces are tricky. Even the slightest misalignment could make you connect with someone else's mind?" Kale finished her thought. He smiled faintly. "I know the risks," Leora hesitated. This was the first time she had ever tested a device on a human. She trusted Kale's instincts, but she still feared what could happen. Their colony had rules against untested neural connections. They could be dangerous. But curiosity had always been her strongest trait, and the spark of adventure in Kale's eyes made the decision easier. "All right," she said. "We'll do it together. One test, short duration. If anything goes wrong, we disconnect immediately." Kyle nodded. He extended his hand and she placed the small neural cap on his head first. Then she carefully put on her own. The device hummed softly, lights pulsing in rhythm with their heartbeats. "Ready?" she whispered. "Ready," he replied. The moment the neural interface activated, a strange sensation surged through Leora. It was not pain, but something much stranger, an echo of someone else's thoughts brushing against her own. At first she tried to push it away, but then it intensified. She felt flashes of Kale's memories, not all of them clear, but enough to make her gasp. A memory of Kale standing alone on a cliff during a storm. Another of him laughing with his little sister in the colony's training halls. And then something unexpected, raw emotion buried deep, fear, hope, longing. Leora's mind screamed for clarity, but the connection had its own rhythm now. She realized she could also share her thoughts with Kale. Images, feelings, tiny unspoken desires, the things she never said aloud, flowed from her mind into his. Kale froze. He felt it too. A stream of someone else's private world brushing against his consciousness. And then he sensed her curiosity, her doubts, even her small secret wish to be understood. They stared at each other, eyes wide, unsure what to do. Neither spoke, but both could feel the other's heartbeat, the rapid rise of tension and excitement, the fluttering of something unspoken. "This is..." Kyle whispered finally, but even his words felt inadequate. "It's too much," Leora said, though her voice trembled with fascination. "I didn't expect this. I didn't know it would feel like this." Kale reached out instinctively, his hand brushing hers. The touch was ordinary, yet it seemed amplified, as if the neural interface had made even the simplest connection extraordinary. "We should disconnect," Leora said, her mind racing. "Before it gets out of control." Kyle shook his head slowly. "I don't want to. Not yet. There's something here. Something we can't ignore." Before she could respond, a sudden alert flashed on the console. Uncharted signal detected. Origin, Talos 9 outer sector. Resonance, neural energy, both of them froze. The signal wasn't random. It was alive, pulsing with energy that mirrored the neural waves they had just shared. "Do you see that?" Leora asked, pointing at the scanner. Kale nodded. "It's reacting to us, to our minds." They exchanged a look that carried unspoken questions and answers. This was no ordinary signal. It was as if the planet itself, or something on it, had detected the neural connection they had accidentally created. "I think we need to investigate," Kyle said. His voice held a mix of fear and thrill. "And I think it wants us to." Leora hesitated, but deep down she knew he was right. Curiosity, the same force that had driven humanity to the stars, tugged at her heart. The next day, They boarded a small exploration craft, leaving the safety of the colony behind. Leora adjusted the neural interface once more, this time deliberately to maintain their link during the mission. The device hummed and the connection between them became clearer. Unlike before, this time they could control it. Thoughts could be sent and received consciously, feelings shared without words, small desires made visible, and yet even with control the experience was overwhelming. Kale glanced at Leora. "I can feel everything you're thinking," he said quietly. "I can feel you too," she replied. Her mind flashed with images of the barren landscape outside, the unknown awaiting them, and a small wish, one she hadn't intended to share. "I hope I'm not alone in this." Kyle's mind met hers instantly. And he thought, "You're not alone." Not anymore. They reached the outer edge of Talos 9, where red dust stretched endlessly and the horizon was blurred by a permanent storm. The signal grew stronger, pulsating like a heartbeat. It seemed alive, almost conscious, and it resonated in harmony with their neural connection. It's incredible," Leora whispered. "It's not just a signal. It's responding to us, our thoughts, our emotions." Kyle nodded, scanning the readings. "And it's huge. Whatever is sending this, it's massive." "Maybe it's intelligent," Leora shivered. The thought of encountering something beyond human comprehension terrified her. And yet the neural connection with Kale gave her courage. Together they felt braver, stronger. As their craft hovered closer to the source, a shimmer appeared on the horizon. It looked like a mirage, but as they approached, the shape solidified into something crystalline, enormous and alien. The structure pulsed softly as if breathing, resonating in perfect sync with the neural signals from their interface. Kale swallowed. "Whatever this is, it's waiting for us," Leora's heart pounded. Every unspoken desire, every hidden fear, every quiet hope between them felt magnified. She realized then that the neural connection had done more than link their minds. It had prepared them, shaping their thoughts, emotions, and trust for whatever lay ahead. And as the alien structure shimmered under Talos 9's artificial sky, both of them felt something they had never experienced before. Not fear, not doubt, but a strange, undeniable excitement. They were standing on the edge of the unknown, together, and neither would ever be the same. The alien structure loomed closer as Leora and Kale's craft descended onto Talos 9's outer plains. Its crystalline surface shimmered in colors neither of them could name. The pulsing light seemed to respond directly to the rhythm of their neural connection, brightening as their thoughts aligned, dimming whenever doubt crept in. "This place. It feels alive," Kyle whispered, awe in his voice. "It's not just alive," Leora replied, eyes wide. "It's aware. It can feel us, and our thoughts." They landed a short distance from the structure, dust swirling around the craft as it settled onto the red soil. The air outside was thin but breathable, carrying the faint tang of ozone. Despite the alien surroundings, Leora felt calm. The neural link with Kale was steady like a lifeline. Every heartbeat, every thought, every unspoken desire of hers flowed between them without words. And she sensed Kale's in return. "Let's be careful," she said, adjusting her neural cap. "We don't know what this structure wants or what it will do." Kyle nodded. "I'll follow your lead." Together they approached the structure. Its surface was smooth and cold under their hands, yet it seemed to hum with energy, responding to even the smallest shift in their thoughts. Leora's mind raced with questions. How had this alien construct survived unnoticed? And why did it respond to human neural energy specifically? As they moved deeper into the crystalline form, the interior revealed itself to be vast and hollow. Light pulsed along geometric patterns in the walls, creating intricate pathways of color and sound that seemed to synchronize with their neural signals. "It's like it's speaking, without words," Kale said. He extended his hand and the lights pulsed brighter. "It wants us to understand something." Leora closed her eyes, reaching out with her mind. She felt a warmth, a gentle pressure like the structure was touching her thoughts directly. Memories of Kale, memories of herself, even small hidden desires, the desire to be seen, the wish for connection. All were reflected back at her in strange, beautiful patterns. "It's showing us." "Us," Leora said softly. "All our thoughts. All the things we haven't spoken." Kale glanced at her. His mind raced, yet the neural link kept them steady. "It's okay. he sent to her silently. We'll understand it together. Suddenly, the structure pulsed violently. Their minds were flooded with images. Humans on Talos 9, struggling, exploring, learning. The pulse carried not pain but urgency. Leora realized it was a warning. The structure was alive in a way that reacted to emotions, and their unspoken desires, fears, hopes, longing, were influencing it more than they knew. Kale's voice trembled slightly. We need to be careful. Every thought we have, it responds to it. Leora nodded. She focused, calming her mind, willing only peace and understanding. The pulsing light slowed, returning to a steady rhythm. The connection between them deepened. They were no longer just two humans linked by a neural interface. They were a single presence in a world that could sense emotion. As they explored further, they discovered a chamber at the center of the structure. Inside was a crystalline orb, glowing with energy that matched their neural pulses. It hovered above a pedestal, rotating slowly, sending waves of light that synchronized with their connection. This must be the core, Leora whispered. Whatever this is, it's alive. Maybe even sentient. Kale studied the orb. It's like it's waiting for us. For our thoughts, our feelings. I think it wants to communicate through us. They stood in silence, unsure how to proceed. And then, almost instinctively, Leora reached out with her mind. We want to understand you, she thought. We want to know your purpose. The orb pulsed in response. Images flooded their minds. Ancient alien civilizations long gone, creating constructs that could interact with sentient life across the galaxy. Their neural link was the key. Humans were the first species it could truly communicate with because of their complex emotional depth. Kale felt a strange exhilaration. It's incredible, he thought. We're the first humans to understand something completely alien, and it understands us in return. But with the wonder came danger. The orb reacted to every unspoken desire, every hidden fear. Kale felt a flash of ambition he hadn't meant to share, an instinct to use the orb's power for exploration, for conquest. Leora sensed it immediately, her mind brushing against his thought. Kyle, she warned silently, we can't let our selfish desires guide it. He met her mental gaze. I know, he replied. We need balance. Together, they focused on unity, on harmony. Slowly, the orb's pulses became calm, regular, almost comforting. They realized that the alien intelligence wasn't just a machine. It was a reflection of their own emotions. If they wanted to learn from it, they had to master their thoughts, their unspoken desires. Hours passed as they explored the chamber, each experiment teaching them more about themselves and each other. They discovered that by synchronizing their neural connection, they could influence the environment in small ways. Lights shifted color. Crystalline pathways rearranged. Subtle messages appeared in patterns they could interpret. It's like a dialogue, Leora said, awe in her voice. Not with words, but with thoughts and feelings. Kale smiled faintly. And we're speaking it together. Alone, we'd never manage this. Their bond deepened with every experiment. Unspoken desires, small hidden things they had never shared, became a source of strength when aligned. Leora realized she trusted Kale in ways she hadn't trusted anyone before. And Kale, for his part, felt the same, sensing her courage, her curiosity, her fear, and her longing for connection. But the alien intelligence was not without its warnings. When one of them let fear or doubt creep in, the structure responded violently. Crystalline walls shook, light pulses grew erratic, and the air vibrated with raw energy. They learned quickly that control over themselves, over their unspoken desires, was essential not only for survival but for understanding the intelligence. Every desire, every fear, every hope. It's all amplified here, Leora said. Her voice shook. We have to be careful what we think. Kale nodded. Then let's focus on understanding, not power. Let's guide it with our harmony, not our ambition. They spent days in the chamber learning the rhythms of the alien structure. It was patient, almost parental in its guidance, nudging them toward alignment, showing them patterns of thought and emotion. And slowly they began to see its purpose. The structure was designed to teach, to prepare species like theirs for higher understanding, for evolution of mind and emotion. One evening, as Talos 9's twin moons rose in the artificial sky outside, the orb pulsed in a new pattern. Images appeared showing other human colonies, planets across the galaxy, possibilities for humanity that stretched far beyond what they had imagined. Leora and Kale realized the connection was more than a bond between them. It was a key to humanity's next step, but it came with a question they could not ignore. The structure required harmony, trust, and understanding of unspoken desires. If humans could not master their own hearts, the intelligence could not assist them. They had a choice: use their bond wisely or risk chaos. Kale reached for Leora's hand. Their fingers touched, and the neural interface amplified the connection. No words were spoken, but both understood. They would face this challenge together. Their desires, fears, and hopes would guide them, but only if they were aligned. The alien structure pulsed brighter than ever, as if acknowledging their resolve. Leora and Kale stood side by side, hearts and minds entwined, ready to explore the intelligence fully. They knew this journey would test them in ways they could not yet imagine. But they also knew one truth: they were stronger together, and in that shared understanding, they discovered something extraordinary, something that went beyond the alien intelligence itself. They discovered the depth of human connection, the power of trust, and the wonder that could arise when unspoken desires were not hidden but harmonized. The journey had only just begun. That seemed to match Leora and Kale's combined neural heartbeat. Days had passed since they first entered, yet the world outside seemed a distant memory. Time felt strange here. The structure had its own pace, one guided by thought, emotion, and unspoken desire. "This is it," Kyle said quietly, his hand brushing against Leora's. "Whatever happens next, we face it together." Leora nodded. She could feel the truth of it in their connection. Their minds intertwined like never before, sharing not just thoughts but courage, fear, and hope. The orb responded to them, its pulses brighter, faster, as if sensing the importance of their moment. They had learned much over the past days. The orb could amplify emotion, shape reality in subtle ways, and reflect unspoken desires. Every hidden hope, every secret longing could be felt, and if mismanaged, could create chaos. That realization weighed heavily on them. "Are we ready?" Leora asked, voice barely above a whisper. Kale hesitated, feeling a surge of ambition. "We could use this power for exploration, to reshape colonies, to lead humanity to greatness," his mind suggested. But then he sensed Leora's thought. "No, we must act with harmony, with care." He nodded firmly. "Yes, we're ready. To understand, not to control." As they focused, the orb pulsed faster, projecting visions into their minds. They saw distant planets, stars, human colonies thriving, and at the same time potential disasters, wars, environmental collapse, and the dangers of unchecked desire. The intelligence was showing them both the power of humanity's unspoken emotions and the consequences if they were left unchecked. "It's teaching us," Leora said, awe in her voice. "Not with words, but with everything we feel. It's showing us the path and the risks." Kale looked into her eyes, sensing every nuance of her thoughts. "We have to trust each other," he sent. "Only together can we make the right choice." They approached the orb. Its surface was warm under their hands, and the pulsations grew stronger as their neural connection deepened. They realized the orb could now reflect not only their thoughts, but their unity. Together, they had the power to influence the structure's energy safely. "Alone, it might have been too dangerous. Let's do it," Leora said. Together, every thought aligned.
Every desire in balance. Kale reached for her hand.
Their minds linked fully, unspoken fears and ambitions merging into a single shared clarity. The orb responded immediately, glowing brighter than ever, illuminating the chamber with colors beyond imagination. The crystalline walls vibrated gently like a heartbeat matching their own. Suddenly, the orb projected a vision of the colony on Talos 9. Humans were bustling about, unaware of the intelligence waiting in the outer planes. And then flashes of unspoken desires within the colony appeared. Some noble, some selfish, some dangerous. Leora and Kale realized the orb could amplify not just their desires, but the collective desires of humanity. Kale's mind trembled with the weight of the realization. If we misalign our thoughts, the consequences could be catastrophic. Leora sensed it too. We cannot let fear or ambition dominate us. They concentrated on harmony, drawing on trust, hope, and compassion. Slowly, the chaotic visions calmed, reshaping into patterns of cooperation, growth, and understanding. The structure resonated with their unity, pulsating in a rhythm that felt like a heartbeat of the planet itself. We can guide it, Leora whispered. But only if we stay in balance, Kale nodded. Then we guide it together. As they continued, the orb's energy expanded, sending waves across the structure. Images of the galaxy appeared, showing planets, stars, and human colonies in need of guidance. Leora and Kale realized they were now participants in something far greater than themselves. They were the bridge between human desire and cosmic understanding, a connection that could help humanity grow responsibly across the stars. But the challenge was not over. The orb pulsed violently for a moment, reflecting every hidden desire they had ever tried to ignore. Fear, doubt, longing, ambition, all surged forward, threatening to destabilize the structure. Kale gritted his teeth. Focus, he thought. We cannot let this overwhelm us. Leora reached out, sending calm, balanced thoughts toward him. Together, she sent. Trust me and trust yourself. Their neural connection shone brightly, forming a perfect harmony that the orb recognized instantly. The violent pulses softened into steady light, colors flowing like a river. They had learned the ultimate lesson. Unspoken desires are powerful, but only when understood, shared, and aligned with trust and care. You did it, Kyle whispered, smiling. We did it, Leora laughed softly, a sound of relief and wonder. We did it, together. The orb's glow intensified one last time and then began to project outward, sending a wave of energy toward Talos 9. It was a message, a gift, a guide for humanity. The colony's neural interfaces began to respond, showing subtle patterns of understanding and cooperation among its people. Leora and Kyle realized their actions had not just influenced the structure. They had sent a ripple of growth back to the human race. This is beyond anything we imagined, Leora said. We didn't just survive, we helped humanity evolve, Kale squeezed her hand, and we learned about ourselves in the process. Every fear, every hope, every unspoken desire, it led us here. For a moment, they simply stood there, letting the energy of the structure flow around them. The chamber glowed with peace and understanding, a stark contrast to the chaos of their first moments inside. But the most extraordinary part was not the alien intelligence itself. It was what it revealed about them. Leora realized she had never truly understood the depth of connection possible between humans. And Kale realized that trust, empathy, and shared desire could be as powerful as any technology or weapon. The structure seemed to acknowledge their understanding, sending one final pulse. A path opened within it, shimmering with light, leading to a view of the galaxy beyond Talos 9. It was an invitation, a promise of new exploration, of discovery guided not by fear but by trust, understanding, and shared desires. Kale glanced at Leora. Shall we? She smiled, feeling the warmth of their neural connection. Together, she said. As they stepped toward the path, they felt the unspoken desires that had once overwhelmed them now transformed into a source of strength. Every hidden wish, every hope, every fear that had once been a burden became a guide for their future. They understood that the real journey was not just discovering alien intelligence, it was discovering themselves, and the potential of humanity when unspoken desires are embraced and understood. Outside, Talos 9's red plains stretched under the artificial sky, calm and still. But inside the hearts of Leora and Cal, a new universe had opened, vast and infinite, waiting for humanity to explore it responsibly. The orb faded gently as they walked forward, leaving behind a world changed, not by force but by understanding.
And as they emerged from the alien structure, the sky seemed to shine with possibility,
the stars twinkling like guides for the next chapter of human destiny. For the first time, Leora and Kale felt completely connected, not just to each other, but to the vast potential of the human race. Every unspoken desire, once hidden and chaotic, had become a light that could illuminate the path forward. They looked at each other, a silent understanding passing between them. No words were needed. The journey of 1,000 unspoken desires had ended, but the adventure of discovery, unity, and exploration had only just begun. Together they stepped back onto Talos 9, ready to face the world and the stars with hearts aligned,